Hey there everybody, and welcome back to Sasquatch Speaks. I am Sasquatch, otherwise known as Gavisas, and today I kind of want to relate a little story that happened to me just in the last week. So what happened is I received a letter from my bank. I'll say which bank it is. It's PNC. Not really sure what that stands for, but if you've ever seen a PNC bank, you know what it is. It's an American chain, so don't worry about it too much. Just you'd probably figure it out eventually if you go there from the accounts that are going to be mentioned. But what happened is I got a letter from them about a week ago informing me that my account had been overdrawn for the last 15 days, and I got this on the 19th. Now, I have some automatic withdrawals and things that come out on the 1st, but otherwise, I generally don't take any money out of my account. And so when they said on the 19th that my account had been overdrawn for 15 days, that meant that money would come out on the 4th, which is not really something that should have happened. I thought maybe someone had gotten into my account and stolen something, so I went into the bank to find out what the problem was. And what was strange is that it wasn't overdrawn by a lot. It was like $1.65 or something like that. It was like, who would steal $1.65? I really don't keep very much money in my account. Investments, better rate of return. Not really the point here. Moving on. Anyway, so I go into the bank and I talk to the man. He goes, "Oh yes, well, the account that you started when you began banking with us, however many years ago it was, like 7 or so, back when they were, I think, Standard Federal or something. Not really sure. It's been a while. Anyway, so they said the account that you signed up for is no longer available, and so we have transferred you from a free checking account to a paid checking account." And I'm like, why? I mean, we agreed that, this was a free service that you were offering me. It was something that this was the agreement. You guys take my money, and you guys get to invest in the market, and you get to make 10 or 12% off of it. And in return, I don't keep money in my wallet, which I do anyway. But whatever, I just need it. I need it for online bill pay and stuff like that. So, like I said, automatic withdrawals and stuff. So I allow them to hold my money and make interest on it so that I can have access to it when I need it in realms where cash money will not do. I like cash money. I like to hold it. I like to feel it. I like the smell of it. Deal with it. It's just the way I am. Anyway, so we go in there and he goes, "Oh yeah, it messed up, and because your account balance fell below this point, because I don't keep enough in there to cover these bills. Because it fell below this point, we charged you $7 because we're the banking weekend, basically." And I'm like, well, I never agreed to this sort of a setup. We need to work this out. So he goes, "Okay, well, what we'll do is we'll switch you into our new virtual wallet account." I'm like, "Okay, so what does that do?" He goes, "Okay, well, basically, it does exactly what you did before, but instead of having one account, you have 3 accounts." And I'm going, oh boy. So the first account is exactly what I had before. It's exactly what I wanted. No problem. The second one is some sort of a short-term savings account, which is basically just a place to park money and do nothing with it. And the third one's what they call a growth account, which has an interest rate on it, but it is so laughably small I won't even bother to explain how small it is. Suffice it to say that the conservative estimate for the annual inflation rate is 3%, and this one didn't even come close to touching it. Not even close. It was throwing a ball at it, and it just missed by a mile. You couldn't hit this thing with a intercontinental ballistic missile, just so far off the beaten, so far away. Anyway, so basically, by putting your money in there, you're losing money, even though you're technically adding numerically, you're losing value. That'll be a topic for another day. Anyway, so you're like, okay, well, if all I want is the checking portion of this, so I can get my online bill pay and all kind of stuff, and not have to worry about it. And it's free, so fine. He goes, okay, well, there's one other caveat that we have to talk about here. And I'm like, okay, what is that? He goes, the thing that makes it free is that you do all of your banking off-site or at an ATM or online or something like that. If you come into the building and you do a transaction in this building, then we're going to charge you per transaction. And I'm like, okay, that doesn't, I don't really have a need to come in here. This is the first time I've been in here in a couple years, really. So, fine. Doesn't bother me in the slightest. So, he sets me up with this lady who's going to get me into this account because he's the manager and he didn't have time to do it himself, which is no problem. I mean, that's why he has other people hired there so that they can do it for him. I mean, that's what you normally do when you own a business. But this lady gets in there and we start going through there, and she's in the office and she's, okay, well, we're going to get you into this account, and she starts explaining all the little things, and I'm sitting there, because I work in the financial industry, I know a lot about the ins and outs and interest rates, and I knew more about the subject than probably she did, but I wasn't gonna be a jerk about it. I just kind of sat there the whole time, kind of biting my tongue. Up until the point where she started explaining the wonderful features that it was for people to be able to do all of the banking off-site, and not even being able to come into the stores or in the brick and mortar buildings without getting extra charges. Like, oh yeah, it's so much more convenient. You just go up to the ATM, boop, 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 push a couple buttons, and it's wonderful, isn't it? And talks about all the online features and this, that, and the other, and really stressing this point. And I was trying to hold it in, and it came to a point where I just couldn't anymore. Because I had to ask a question. Okay, since this account is so wonderful and so great, and you're building up all of its wonderful off-site features so heavily, I have to ask the question. If everyone starts doing their banking outside of this building, how long will it be until your job is no longer necessary and you're fired? And that's exactly how I phrased it. And I know it's probably a little bit more confrontational than it probably should have been. But when people are openly advocating something that will be bad for them in the long run, I try to, throw up a warning sign. Hey, there is a pit in front of you. Don't fall into it. There are sharp rocks at the bottom, and no one will ever find you again. I'm a nice guy like that sometimes. Anyway. Sometimes. Anyway, but there's a limit to this, and here's the limit. Because I ask her this, and she stops and she pauses, and she kind of gets this faraway look in her eye. And she goes, well, I hadn't really thought about that. But I'm sure there will probably be a lot of people whose jobs do get taken away. But I'm sure mine will be just fine. Two things. First, how selfish is this woman? It's like, oh yeah, definitely. I can see what you're saying. There are a lot of people who are about to lose their jobs because of this thing. And because it's the new account that's being promoted everywhere, and everyone who comes in, they're getting this account. This is how they're being serviced now, which is no service, but this is how we as the bank are choosing to treat our customers and our employees. And yes, a lot of our employees are about to be laid off. They're about to lose their job. They're about to lose their income. And I'm okay with that. And here's the second point. Because it's not going to affect me. How do you know it's not going to affect you? I mean, think about this logically. If you are a customer service representative for PNC Bank, and all of a sudden there is no more customer service department at PNC Bank, where are you working? thoughts, intelligence go into this brain and like save this woman from herself. And I wasn't gonna go in. I when she said it, I knew I was gonna just be talking to a brick wall because she wasn't gonna get the point. But it's just like, wow, how can people not look just beyond the edge of their nose and go, there's something bad about to happen to me. There's just this gigantic overarching thing. Hey, you know what? Your job, we're doing away with it. And we're telling you to tell other people to join this thing so that we can do away with your job faster. I mean, sure, evil corporations, all that kind of stuff. Not really. They're trying to increase their profit. I don't really have a problem with corporations trying to increase their profit because it is a for-profit business. But when people work, and people talk about, like I said, the evil corporations, this woman is allowing this to be done to her. She's not, if she was intelligent, she'd be like, I see what you're talking about here. I understand. And I'd be like, hey, there's this other account here that will get you the same thing. I mean, because I'm sure there is one. I'm sure there is one. But this is the one that's being promoted corporately. And be like, and it'd be like in The Incredibles with Mr. Incredible when he's working at the insurance agency, and the lady comes in, I lost my house or my car, whatever it was, and he's like, here, take this form to this person on this level and fill in this, that, and the other, and it'll all work out. And then it's like, they're penetrating the bureaucracy. It's a travesty. It's a tragedy. They're destroying the system from the inside out. How do they know? But rather than do that, she's like, oh no, I'm sure my job will be okay. I don't care about anyone else. I don't care that they're about to lose their income or they're about to lose their job or whatever sorts of sustenance for their family that they might have. No, don't care. My job will be fine. No, it won't. Lady, to this lady, I know I'm picking on her a lot, and she'll never hear this again because I have a tiny little following that's not growing very quickly. But it's just, how can someone? Because this is mind-boggling to me. Because I'm a very phlegmatic personality type, which means I analyze everything to the nth degree and never. Something like this to me it's so cut and dry, and it's like, hey, you're about to lose your job, and you're helping them eliminate your job. It's very, very simple. But so when someone says, well, I don't see it, or I think I'll be okay, or I will be the exception in this very clear, cut and dry sort of thing where my position is about to be eliminated, I don't know how to react to that, because it's like, I can see it. I told you straight to your face exactly what's going to happen, and you admitted it back to me that is going to happen. But you think you're somehow immune to the inevitability of the situation? I don't understand how that could be. I don't understand how anyone could have that sort of a jaded mindset that even though it's happening to everyone else around you, or that it's going to happen, because it hasn't happened yet, but it's going to. Just watch it. There's going to be massive layoffs. They're going to probably close up all their brick and mortar stores eventually. Not right now, but probably the next couple of years, you'll start seeing more and more of them close up as this kind of begins to become more and more prevalent. Because people will figure it out the same way I did. Because something will happen, their account will drop below X amount of dollars, and all of a sudden they'll be getting this charge on there, and it'll be, hey, I didn't have that, I didn't agree to this. Well, here, we still have your free account. And like I said, no problems with the company wanting to earn profit. That is a foregone conclusion in my doing business with them, that they will earn money off of me. Don't have a problem with that. I do have a problem with people willfully, or maybe not willfully, but being so comfortable in their ignorance of a situation that they'll allow themselves to be taken advantage of. Up until the point where they're like, okay, we've gotten all that we want from you. Goodbye. Don't let the door hit you on the way out. Because that'll give us a lawsuit, and we don't want to have to deal with that. But yeah, that's kind of my rant for today. I'll have another one tomorrow. Monster Hunt on the weekends. I think I'm going to keep up this schedule. I might change it around a little bit. So I'm going to have from here on out. I'm going to have Xenoblade Monday through Wednesday, Sasquatch Speaks Thursday, Friday, and Monster Hunter Saturday and Sunday. Because I don't know, it just works out that way. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Hope you did enjoy hope you saw some wisdom in what I said. Hope you enjoyed what you heard. If you did, a like rating down below would be very much appreciated. If not, dislike ratings and all that sort of nasty comments and stuff. Like I always say, I'll see you all tomorrow. Goodbye.